In this video, we're going to take a look at solving equations by factoring. If you look down here, we have our 5 steps that we're going to go through in order to do this. So let's go ahead and get started with our problem 6x squared plus 5 equals negative 17x. So we're going to add 17x to both sides in order to get it equal to 0. So negative 17x plus 17x is 0. And then I'm going to put it in between the 6x squared and the 17x and the 5 so that we have it in descending exponential order. And x squared and 17x are not like terms, so we can't combine them. So now that we're done with that step, we need to look to see if we can pull out a greatest common factor, which when we look here, 6x squared, 17x, and 5 do not have a greatest common factor. So we're done with that step. Next, we need to factor. So we need to recognize how can we factor this. And so we see that it's a trinomial. So we're going to use the method that we've been talking about, where we multiply the first and the third, and you get 30x squared. And we're looking for a sum of a positive 17x. So we're looking for factors of positive 30x squared that give us a sum of 17x. So we could try a few, like 6x, 5x, nope, that's only 11x. We could try 3x and 10x. Again, that doesn't work, that's only 13. So we think a little bit more, and then we're like, oh, well, 2x and 15x gives us 17x. Okay, so now we come in here and we replace that middle term with our factors. So we have 15x plus 2x and then plus 5 equals 0. Okay, now we need to group. So we'll group these two and then we'll group these two. Now we need to pull out our greatest common factor from those. So here we can pull out a 3x and we're left with 2x plus 5. In this case, the only common factor that we have is 1, so we pull out a 1 and we have 2x plus 5. Still equal to 0. Now we look again and we say, okay, our greatest common factor between this whole term and this whole term is 2x plus 5. So we pull that out front. And then we're left with a 3x plus 1, which is equal to 0. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we need to solve by setting all factors equal to 0. So since this 2x plus 5 is a factor and this 3x plus 1 is a factor, we need to go ahead and say, okay, 2x plus 5 equals 0, or 3x plus 1 equals 0. So we can take and we can subtract 5 from both sides here. You get 2x equals negative 5. Divide both sides by 2. And so we could get that x equals negative 5 halves, which is negative 2.5. And then we can look over here and subtract 1 from both sides, and we get that 3x equals negative 1. Divide both sides by 3, and we could get that x equals negative 1/3. Okay, so we have these two possible solutions. So now we need to check them to make sure that they are going to work. So in order to do that, we are going to come back to our original problem of 6x squared plus 5 equals negative 17x and plug in the 5 halves, see if it comes out with a true statement, and then we need to put in the negative 1/3. So we come over here and we say 6 times negative 5 halves squared plus 5 equals negative 17 times negative 5 halves. And so negative 5 halves is 25 fourths, because negative 5 times negative 5 is 25 and 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 5 equals, we'll put this 17 over 1, and we should get 85 over 2. So when we multiply this out, we can reduce these down by 2. 3 times 25 is 75 halves, plus, I'll just put this in terms of halves, 10 halves equals 85 halves. And we see that 85 halves equals 85 halves. That's a true statement. Okay, so we can come and we can write our solution set. Let's put it over here. And we see that negative 5 halves is in fact a solution. Okay, so now let's try that with the 1/3. So we say 6 times negative 1/3 squared plus 5 equals negative 17 over 1 times negative 1 over 3, negative 1/3. Negative 1/3 squared is 1/9 plus 5 equals negative 17 times the negative 1 is a positive 17, and 1 times 3 is 3. So we can take and put 6 over 1, reduce this down to 2 and 3. And so we have 2/3 plus 5 equals 17/3. So 5 and 2/3 equals, when we convert 17/3 into a mixed number, we get 5 and 2/3. So again, that one checks out as well. So now we have our solution set of negative 5/2 and negative 1/3. So if this video was at all helpful, go ahead and like my video. You can check out the other ones on my YouTube channel, and thank you for watching.